All right, so today is going to be interesting because it is raining. You are going to get to see me go through my first training session in the rain. It is hurricane season here in South Texas, so hurricane season is June through November, and we have our first tropical storm blowing through. So I'm not going to have chalk with me because the chalk would just turn into milk. And I was going to use a pair of heavier bells today because traditionally, well, not traditionally, through experience, we are our strongest in the middle of the week. And so I was going to go up to 32 kilos, but I'm going to stick with 24s just to make sure these things don't slip out of my hands. And it's wet and rainy. So here we are. You get to see me do my first training session outdoors in the rain, in the middle of a tropical storm. I even went out of my way to get a waterproof camera, so that way you get to see my misery. Last time I did this, it was during my first attempt at 75 hard. First jerks are always tough. The first time, yeah, these are slipping in and out of my hands. The first time I did 75 hard was about this time. I did it in spring. It was spring all the way through mid-June, right in the middle of hurricane season, and we had a tropical storm blow through, and I was doing snatches. It was part of the program. And yeah, that was tough. So here we go, double jerks, tropical storm. Hopefully my mic will hold up. I'm not sure how waterproof my mic is, but my camera, I use a GoPro, one of the latest GoPro, I think it's GoPro 12 Black, is waterproof. So I know that the camera's good. I'm just not sure how waterproof the mic system is. We'll find out. So since I can't go up plus 4 kilos on my belt, actually I was going to go up plus 8 kilos. I was going to go from 24 to 32. One of the things I wanted to show you today, one of the skills that I wanted to work on today was I was going to use 2 belt sizes. So 24s that I have here, pair of 32s, and the skill set that I was going to work on was, can I make the 32s look like the 24s? That's a skill. Oftentimes I'll hear people say things like, well, in order to maybe clear up someone's technique, maybe the bell's too light and they need to go heavier. I don't agree with that, because you should possess the skills to make a lightweight look heavy. And you just got to see my wife. She's getting her walk in right now. We're on day 18 of 75 hard. You got to see her just pass by. She's getting her walk in the middle of a tropical storm. And anyway, what I was saying is we should possess the skills to make a lightweight look heavy, but equally as impressive as a skill set is to make a heavyweight look light. Because in the words of Mark Rifkin, master instructor, it's all easy until it gets heavy. And so since I wasn't able to go heavy today, because that was one of the skills that I wanted to work on, I want to show you something that I do. It's a little skill adjustment that I do when I'm using heavier bells. Now, traditionally, why do I keep saying the word traditionally? Well, maybe this is traditionally. You know, when we're using kettlebells, the snatch and the jerk are mirrored to the weightlifting power jerk, power snatch, meaning like a true, like weightlifting snatch is the squat snatch. You'll snatch the bell, you'll snatch the barbell, but you'll end up in a deep squat. With the kettlebells, it's a power snatch. So an example of a power snatch would be just snatching it overhead and not really going into a deep squat. So the power snatch is just here. Or the kettlebell snatch, it's more of a power snatch. And you don't really go into triple extension as much because the load is not heavy enough. Well, the jerk and even the snatch, they are traditionally triple extension movements, meaning as soon as you drive up and you drive through the hips, you go into triple extension. Ankles, knees, and hips both go into extension. Well, with kettlebells, since you typically aren't going as heavy as a barbell snatch, you just drive through, you keep your feet planted. But whenever I get into heavier kettlebell jerks or anything that I'm cleaning that's moderately heavy, well, what is moderately heavy? For me, again, this is subjective. For me, moderately heavy would be anything 32 kilos and above, particularly when I get to like 36 kilos. So what I will do is on that clean, I drive up to my toes and clean the bells. So that's what I'm gonna demonstrate here. So instead of keeping my heels down, I like to drive up onto my toes. That way I get that triple extension. All right. So luckily, the rain is not coming down as hard. It's just a steady drizzle, but it is supposed to pour down crazy. I think they said by either 10 a.m. or 11 a.m., which works out perfect for my schedule because it says I'm making this video, it's 8:17 in the morning, which is my normally timed training. So it looks like I'll avoid the brunt. Hopefully there's no lightning. Okay, and so something else I do when the bells are getting heavy is I'll do triple extension on the way up, and then I'll go through triple extension on the way down. So what that's going to look like is eventually, once the bells get heavy, I don't want all that weight crashing into me. I want to come up and meet the weight and then receive it down. So I'll go triple extension on the way up. Okay, so it looks like as soon as I drive and as soon as I receive them, I plant and I root. Then I have my triple extension going overhead, okay? And then my third triple extension is as soon as the bells are coming down, I come up. I come up and I meet the bells and I'll catch them. So I'll do that as the weight starts getting heavy, as I mentioned, 32, 30, particularly 36 and above. But I like to practice that when I'm even using lighter weights. So today's training session is 36 minutes. I got 36 minutes of double jerks. What I will be doing is keeping my rest periods, trimming them by 5 seconds. So normally I do, well, what I've been doing is doing 1 minute rest. But then I'll start working on some density and I'll start trimming the rest period down 5 seconds at a time until I get to 45-second rest. And so this allows me to start working on density training. And so what density training is doing more work in the same time frame or the same work in less time. That's density. So as I trim this down every 5 seconds down to 55 seconds or 45 seconds, it's going to do a couple things. Number one, it's going to allow me to get more volume in the same training duration. So still training 36 minutes, 30 minutes, 44 minutes, 45 minutes, but I'm getting more volume done. And the second thing it does is it's going to push my endurance a little bit, because now my rest periods are compressed. Rain is slowing down. So this is another means for me to vary the intensity. So, and really what I'm doing is just varying the effort, because intensity, when I talk about intensity, I'm talking about intensity with respect to the weight that I'm using. So this allows me to vary the effort, which is a form of intensity. And so one of the things that made kettlebells sexy is you only need a 1 or 2. You didn't need a whole bunch of, that was the whole angle, is compared to dumbbells, barbells, you need all this equipment. With kettlebells, you just need a kettlebell or a pair of kettlebells. Well, it kind of defeats the purpose if you're training and you're using 4 different sets of kettlebells in a training session. And so doing this allows me to vary the intensity, i.e. effort, without needing to, and keeping it still minimalist, where I don't need a bunch of weights to get the job done. Another means of varying the effort, i.e. again, intensity, this is something we take our students through in level 1 training of the academy, is something called rest pause training. So essentially what it is keeping you under tension longer. So again, I try to, when I do these tactics, is it allows me to be more creative with my training, allows me to build more skill sets, because I have to try to figure out ways to make this more challenging without changing the weight. And so things like density training, what they call the Russian rest pause, the Soviets call Russian rest pause, which is traditionally it would be clean, let's say jerk, you'd put it down, you shake it out, clean jerk again. That would be a traditional rest pause. But the Russians took it one step further, as the evil Russians that they are, is clean, pause, jerk. So let's say what we'll do is we'll have our students stretch their set up to, let's say, a minute. Well, if we're doing, let's say, sets of 2, where you're basically doing a repetition every 30 seconds. So it teaches you to teaches you how to deploy what we call in the Strong First system the professional applications of tension. So the goal isn't to create as much tension as possible, because we don't want to make that the main focus of the lift, but we need to know how to dial up the tension and dial it back. So rest pause teaches you how to maintain connection, remain calm under pressure, literally, and still perform. Did I just do a rep? No. And so we'll help them scale that out. And again, it's just another means to be creative with the training. It's another means to develop skill sets, because your skill sets are your default settings, and to see better and faster progress. So one of the key pillars or principles of our training system in the academy is a less is more approach with fewer moving parts. Well, if you have a bunch of kettlebells, and even, I mean, if we're being super purist, double kettlebell is not minimalist because it's multiple kettlebells, okay? One of the trademarks of Strong First is, in case civilization is temporary. What that means is, in case civilization is temporary, only take with you that which you can carry. Can't carry a treadmill, can't carry a bunch of barbell plates. You can carry a pair of 24s, but that's going to get very fatiguing, but you can carry 124, you know? So that's, again, we want to use as fewer moving parts. So this allows us to keep the training minimal. But in order to, we've got to see progress, and we've got to stimulate the body in different ways. So in order to do that, we help them deploy tactics like rush and rest pause, density, volume, without changing the load. And that's how they're able to see pretty impressive progress in a 16-week period. So I'm going to show you another tactic that I will use with the jerk. I don't know if I'll be able to do that with the vest on. So remember, the fastest way, or the fastest route from A to B is what? In a straight line. We've got two different rack positions. We have your traditional military press rack, where you'll clean the bell and you'll have your arms out to your side, so you can smash your arm into your ribs, and that activates your lats. You know, and then you'll press out this way, okay? But what happens is, you need the lats in order to get that. So you need that type of rack position, and then you open up. Well, I don't want to open up too much, especially if I'm using a really heavy load, double weights, because the further that kettlebell, which is the center of mass, the further it gets away from my center of mass, I lose leverage, okay? And so in order to have good leverage, we need to have good posture, good positioning. Positioning, in jiu-jitsu we say position over submission. So if you get in the right position, okay, if you can get in the right position, you'll be, let's see, if you have the right strong posture and you can get in the right position, you'll have more effective submissions, okay, leverage. Same thing with strength training. We want to have good, strong posture. That posture lets us to get into stronger positions, and then in that stronger position, we get to have more leverage over the weight that we're lifting. Well, if the goal is to go from the fastest location of A to B, straight line, I don't want to open up, because that's increasing the distance. What I want to do is just go straight overhead. So what I'm going to focus on here is, and if you're a lady watching this, you may have to be super careful with this, because you don't want to smash your breast tissue. But for guys, once you clean, we don't want to clean out here to this outside rack position. We want to clean to where we rest our triceps, and we rest them like on the torso here. So you can see how close the bells are now to my center of mass. And then from here, as soon as I drive, I'm going to try to get those bells to go straight up and then lock. And now it is pouring rain. So the vest is in the way a little bit. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Straight up, straight down. Yeah, it's pouring. It is effectively pouring. And I still have another 11 minutes. trying to cover my mic with my hand as I'm walking. Again, I'm not sure how resilient this is to water or how resistant. So can you see the difference in that jerk versus cleaning up, having your hands out here? Me trying to jerk out here, the hands are too far away. I want to keep those bells. If I didn't have this vest on, I'd really be able to put my hands here in the front, kind of like a boxing guard, you know, like boxing. So I want to be here, okay? And then what that allows me to do is allows me to use what I call the launch pad. The launch pad is my rib cage. So as soon as I dip, okay, then as soon as I drive, I'll extend my chest. And when I extend my chest, okay, it pops those bells up. And then from there, it's just a straight lock. So I'm gonna go triple extension on the way up to the clean, rack here to the center, triple extension to the jerk and the catch, triple extension catch, rinse, repeat, 3 repetitions. There we go.
Segment 14, marked.
My neighbors are probably wondering what in the heck is this guy doing out in the middle of a tropical storm with a video camera moving weights around. Well, this is how we do it at hardstyle, and this is what we got to do for 75 hard, which was another, speaking of 75 hard, I'm on day 18. It was another, that's why I think 75 hard resonated with me. As I mentioned in past videos, like the reason I named my company Hardstyle is because hardstyle just means, for me, the hard path, doing things the most challenging way. What's the most challenging thing I can do? Because it's that hard path that leads to salvation, that leads to freedom. And so 75 hard, and then when I heard of the term hard style, I just heard hard. And I was like, that's it. I want to name my company Hardstyle. We do things hard style. And when I learned about Andy's program 75 hard, I'm like, oh, 75 hard, hard style, like match made in heaven. All right, so it's triple extension all the way. Try to get into that center rack position. Straight overhead. Triple extension to catch. Those bells are getting very slippery. My camera seems to be holding up. All right, I'm at 30 minutes in, 6 more minutes. So camera's holding up. I have actually the receiver is on the camera. The camera is waterproof. Again, I'm not sure how much the receiver in this is, because so what I did was I wrapped saran wrap around the receiver. But I'm officially soaked. The rain is slowing a little. Man, those bells are about to slip out of my hand.
Segment 16, marked.
Should be able to get in another, it's 32 minutes, 32 and a half minutes, maybe another 2 sets. If I'm doing a set every 2 minutes, probably 2 more sets will get the job done. So, okay. I'm gonna see if I can turn to an angle a little bit so you can see what I'm gonna do here. I don't know if it'll be as noticeable because I've got the vest on, but what I'm gonna do next is that rib extension, the launch pad as I mentioned. So as soon as I dip, okay, I'm gonna drive, and as I drive, I'm not just gonna drive up like this. I'm gonna try to dip, drive, and then extend my hips. So I want this is now quadruple extension of ankles, knees, hips, T-spine. this really gets the bells moving. So triple extension to catch, to clean. Sometimes they get there faster than I'm ready.
Segment 17, marked.
All right, last set. 34 and a half minutes in. This last set will take me to 35 minutes. After that, I'll have 10 minutes left. By the time I'm done with my walk and everything, I'll have 10 minutes, 9 minutes to be exact. And I'm just gonna go walk my block. And then that'll be my 45, and I'll be done for the day. And that will complete majority of all my critical tasks. All I'll have to do after this is eat my food, get my macros in, and day 18 is in the books. Here we go, triple extension. All right. All right, that's 18 sets complete, less than 36 minutes. So basically about 2 minutes per set, more than what I wanted, but as I've learned, these sets are just prolonged because of how much I'm talking. I'm fine with that. Hopefully you're getting value out of this and getting to see some insights of, what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. I'm gonna wrap up here, put my mics away. I got a 9-minute walk to close up my 45 minutes. That's it for this mic'd up session. If you're doing 75 hard, if you've ever trained in, tough weather conditions, I don't think this rain is a tough weather condition, but heat, snow, that kind of thing, let me know. Drop something in the comments. If you're on 75 hard, let me know what day you're in. If you strength train with kettlebells, let me know what you got into let me know what got you into kettlebell training. So I appreciate you watching. If you're getting value from these videos and they're helping you out, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, click the like button, turn on notifications so you can be notified whenever we go live again with a new video. So appreciate you watching, man. See you on the next one. Peace.